Come on back inside. Game runs deep. I'm Ben Garrett. That's Sudu Upadhyay over there. Sudu's saying he's not feeling great today. He said he's feeling a little old, but the first comment he made, one of the very first comments he made was, man, the chat's going to just jump my butt for my eyes today. But you know what? You know what? You look great just as you are. Hey, buddy, how are you?
What's up, dude? Yeah, dude, turning 30, I thought was like, I was like, oh, things are going to slow down a little bit. People always warn you about it, right? But I'm feeling it a lot today. Like I just am feeling the effects of just being old. Like there's no rhyme or reason to why I'm feeling bad. It's that I'm just old now. Like, the realization of that is it's pretty tough this morning. Not gonna lie.
I just love that the chat's so in your head. I mean, taking up so much space, rent free up there, that you can't even jump into the pod feeling a little sick. No, you said you got like a stress fracture from walking. That's how I know you're really old, right?
Potentially, we'll see.
Yeah. But the first thing is them eyes. Man, the chat's gonna say I look high.
I was like, dude, I'm so screwed. I'm so cooked in the comments.
But no, how's like other than that, how's your week, sir? Before we jump into the topic of the day and all things college football here on Game Runs Deep, powered by our friends at Riverland Roofing, our friends at College Corner, Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group, Alan Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Oxford, C Spire, B&A Bank, my hometown bank, on and on and on it goes. How's your week been? I hadn't talked to you, I hadn't seen you. Like usually you're texting me about something. I ain't even heard nothing.
Well, we definitely spoke earlier this week, Benny. I think on Tuesday, as a matter of fact. That's not true. But that makes me feel good that you think that me not texting you for 2 days is like we haven't seen each other in ages. That is a nice deal. Tony, God, there he goes. No, I'm good, man. Great week so far. Obviously the Trinidad news came out the other day, and it was exactly what we expected. So nothing shocking there. I think what's been crazier for me. This has less to do with how my week has gone, but just more so getting on to Ole Miss and Trinidad. But just the amount of comments I've gotten from people like something happened, like something really bad happened. Like, oh, hey, man, sorry to hear about Trinidad, man. And I'm just like, what? Like, oh, dude, I heard he's not coming back, bro. That's tough, At least y'all got Deuce Knight, bro. And I'm like, bro, there's a court case. Like, nobody is like, there's half the Twitter responses and articles or whatever after the news came out was, Trinidad Chambliss not coming back. Oh God, Ole Miss is going to have to play. And I was like, guys, there's a whole nother process here that everyone is ignoring. Like, you were just acting like this case isn't happening in court next week in Pittsburgh, Ben, which you need to remember.
Hey, look.
You need to put some respect on Pittsburgh, bro.
It's true. I've butchered the name. I've said Poughkeepsie. I've said Pittsburgh. I mean, it's been all over the place, man. So I'm not even going to try to
and I know Brad.
But I got it now. I got it now. It's Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh.
Brad's like from Calhoun City, right? He's from that area. So I was just listening to y'all a little bit yesterday and just could sense the annoyance in Brad's voice. Like, Ben, it's Pittsburgh. Like, put some respect on
what's
on
wrong
city.
with you. But I will say, like, for those that missed that was a great interview with John Cox, now the senior legal consultant for Game Runs Deep or Talk of Champions. My man's going to be coming on like next week. February 12th is when the NCAA, when Trinidad Chambliss gets his day in court with the NCAA pursuing a preliminary injunction. And you're right. The appeal, there was no surprise there. There was. We've been consistent. I've been consistent. You've been consistent. I'm not going to cover it again, but essentially the appeals process is very similar to the NFL appeals process, to where you're essentially appealing to the party that gave the ruling, saying, hey, change your mind, and they're going to say no.
Yeah.
So that was not a surprise. If Ole Miss was ever going to get, not just Ole Miss, but Trinidad Chambliss, Ole Miss was ever going to get any relief, it was always going to come through the court systems, and now that's what it comes down to. And if you listen to John Cox yesterday on Talk of Champions, man, I thought he really gave a great breakdown of what Ole Miss has to prove, or Trinidad Chambliss, not Ole Miss, what Trinidad Chambliss has to prove as representatives in court, and what he expects to happen. And when you listen to it that way, yeah, that's when you can kind of go, for all the people that said, sorry about Trinidad, he's not coming back next year. No, there's a reason why Ole Miss has been operating as if he will come back for months, and that still hasn't changed. And a lot of that has to do with a home field advantage, home court advantage, whatever you want to call it, in Pittsboro, Mississippi, with a judge from Delta State, Ole Miss. And I think what really surprised me, and the only thing that's really surprised me to begin with all of this, is that the NCAA allowed it to get to this point, because I just didn't think they want to deal with the hassle. But the issues and how the NCAA has pushed back against things, and Ole Miss's approach, both with Trinidad, you name it, it's never really changed. It hadn't changed at all since all of this kind of came down. I mean, so I expect Trinidad Chambliss to still be Ole Miss's quarterback in 2026 until he isn't.
Right.
How Ole Miss is operating.
100%. I just, to me, it's like we've seen the precedent now, over the last few years of players looking for injunctions or looking for some extra years, and seen a lot of guys get it. Some haven't, surprisingly, and there's been no consistency. So, and then did you see yesterday? I mean, you've got the commissioner of the SEC telling the NCAA, advising to the judge in Alabama that Bediaka shouldn't get another year, which is really interesting. I think we talked about that last week or earlier this week, that none of us think that kids should be able to leave professional leagues and come play college sports again. But that was a little surprising, no? That the conference commissioner, who usually keeps his mouth shut on a lot of this stuff, decided to put out a statement. I wonder if he's had pressure on him. It's very interesting, man. There's no rules. There's nothing makes sense anymore to me.
No. Well, the thing about, look at Brad. Brad's in the chat. Good morning,
yes,
Sudu.
Sir.
The one that put the respect on Pittsboro's name. Really? Is this where y'all want to be? Where y'all want to be when Jesus comes back? Picking on little old Ben Garrett. That's what y'all want to be doing?
You're picking on little old Pittsboro. All right, put some respect. That's a brand new courthouse. Okay.
I look forward to eating at El Jefe. All right.
I don't know what that. I don't know.
It's the only restaurant in town. It's the Mexican restaurant across the street from the beautiful courthouse. That's like seriously, it's like the shining beacon on a hill for Pittsboro.
Let's go, dude.
That's what I'm saying. So I know Brad will be at least live from the courthouse on February 12th, the birthday of my beautiful wife, Emily. Happy birthday, Emily.
Let's go.
39 years young. This is my age 40 year. And look at this. Look at Brad. Good morning, Sudu. The one that put respect on Pittsboro's name then. And hey, Ben.
He sees you too much. That's the problem.
Well, I don't care. Whenever I like I said, man, I missed you, Sudu, right when I saw you. He's like, I hadn't talked to you since like Tuesday. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, because I love you. You know what? Brad, love you too, you jerks. You bunch of jerks. Yeah, but everybody is as you predicted in the chat, predicting that you're high. But
beautiful.
If you want to, you're welcome, because I'm going to be sitting in home base.
Yes.
While our guy Brad is on the ground in Pittsboro. He's going to talk to. We're going to have our now senior legal consultant. Happy birthday to you too, James. Yeah, absolutely. Ben's wife, his name is Emily, and she is awesome. That's her right there at the Monsters Inc. ride at Disneyland that no longer exists anymore. So
tough.
Yeah, but anyway, Ben is the man on the street. Brad's man on the street stuff will be coming on February 12th from Pittsboro. He's going to talk to our now senior legal consultant, John Cox, but also Tom Mars says he's going to stop by and talk to us. So I'm just saying.
Okay.
I saw a
CNN
kind of thing, man. I'm saying.
Okay. I saw a rumor on the message board. It wasn't even a rumor.
It was for me, idiot.
I thought Tom Mars was going to be on the show yesterday. So when I saw John, obviously I didn't know who John was prior to yesterday's show.
I didn't either.
I was like, that ain't Tom Mars. Like, what happened to Tom Mars? But you meant Tom Mars is going to be there next week. You didn't mean he was going to be on yesterday's episode. All right, that makes a lot of sense.
Look, when you're a pothead, it's hard to
Okay,
like,
that's come on. Now you're taking shots at me. That's what we're doing?
No. Like, I didn't say your name. You didn't even know where I was going with that. Is all.
Go ahead. No, finish what you were going to say.
That we will be live February 12th for the trial of Trinidad Chambliss for a preliminary injunction, because that's what the offseason is, which is.
Hey, That's the biggest story right now. It's one of the bigger stories in college football, not just for Ole Miss. So,
and in the absence, and Brad says in the chat, be talking to fans there. I hope Sudu will join us too. Well, wake and bake and call us in Poughkeepsie. I'm joking. Pittsburgh. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Hey,
for anyone yells at
come
me.
on.
Pittsburgh. I know it's Pittsburgh.
They won't let you in El Jefe, dude. El Jefe won't let you get in there if you keep messing around.
Yeah. Again, everybody like put some respect on Pittsburgh. Hey, I did say, you're right. I'm not even going to try to push it. You're right. I don't know why I'm bad at like that. Remembering birthdays outside of my wife's. Remembering birthdays and my kids, and I still butcher theirs sometimes. Birthdays, you know how I am. I'm terrible with names, terrible with phone. You know me, man. So of course this is the issue I would run into. But if you're asking the Pittsburgh, that's what I keep thinking too. The Pittsburgh, I'm like Pittsburgh. But you know what I'm getting at here. All right, the thing that matters. All right, whether it's in Pittsburgh, or Poughkeepsie. All right, is that come next week when the NCAA is taken to court by representatives of Trinidad Chambliss, Tom Mars, William Liston, even though the appeal, these roadblocks that they've run into, first the denial of the 6 year of eligibility, the waiver, then the denial of appeal. The waiver was the one that was the shocking one because, again, all the dynamics at play. The appeal was not. So nothing is off course as far as Ole Miss is concerned or Trinidad Chambliss is concerned.
Right.
And in the absence, and that's why it's good that we do this every day now, because in the absence of actual information, nonsense fills the void. Now, I like No 3 Sports on Twitter. I do. You know what I mean? But like we talked about this, Brad and I did on the podcast yesterday. All right. He's lived in 8 years. Drew has lived in the SIP for 8 years. He's never heard of Pittsburgh. I was born and raised here in Mississippi, North Mississippi. We've lost Sudu somehow. I was born and raised. There he goes. He's back. I was born and raised in Mississippi. I live in friggin' Ingomar, which is like Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? And I never heard of it. So forgive me, the dude who can't remember anything. Yeah, I'm sorry. I will never forget it again, though. I will from now, I need a sweatshirt that say, like Pittsburgh fam or something. I'll wear that thing. And I expect Trinidad Chambliss to be Ole Miss quarterback in 2026, even with the denied appeal. But it's fascinating in the absence of all that. Like, it's your conversation with your friends is not abnormal because, like, in this culture, you just get bombarded. And the misinformation these days is insane. Facebook is as bad as it gets. Twitter, I'm never going to call it X. Twitter, you got to know how to work and game the algorithm for you to not get overwhelmed with crap in your face. So it's a long way of saying I believe Ole Miss has got his quarterback for 2026, and they're going to get a preliminary injunction. John Cox kind of laid that out perfectly yesterday on Talk of Champions. And but when you're not, when you don't have that kind of like the consumer can't differentiate between what Ben Garrett's reporting at the Ole Miss Spirit and what John Smith for Hottie Toddy Have Fun 365 on Facebook is posting. So like we do, me and Brad yesterday were talking about, it'd be a great podcast. And I think somebody in the chat rose it up. Like what brought it up. What if Austin Simmons didn't get hurt? To which I was like, oh, I love this. But then Sudu comes in hot before we're recording. He's like, dude, did you see what Austin Simmons said?
Like, I had to go find it. Then I realized I got that it was No 3 Sports, not on 3 Sports.
But like, I want you to go ahead and screen share it. Like, I want to see No 3 Sports. And I love how it's Pete Nokos,
Yeah, he told Pete Nokos.
Not Nakos, my guy, Pete Nakos. And while you're efforting for that, as we jump into this conversation that's really going to drive a lot of the podcast today, thank you all for joining us. I want to say for your next car, truck, or Jeep, it's Alan Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Oxford, AlanSamuelsOxford.com, 662-234-8000. My thanks to them. They have been with me for a long, long time. And as everyone's trying to recover and come back from this ice apocalypse 2026, some of you might have had trees fall on cars or this, that, and the other, and you're overwhelmed. I understand it. For cleanup and stuff, call Riverland Roofing, 662-644, the little house up top. riverlandroofing.com, 662-644-4297, riverlandroofing.com. They can help you with insurance claims as well. But then if you need a car, go to Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Oxford. What time is the court hearing? 9:30, I think. Let me double check. All right, who's all coming? Like, who's all showing up? Like, I want to know if anybody in the chat's like, yeah, I'm heading to Pittsburgh. Ben, we'll meet at El Jefe. You know what I mean? Like, I'll pull up.
There's no three sports.
And what did you say? Did you get got?
I got, no doubt. I saw it. Look, I saw it yesterday, and I was like, I'll bring this up to Ben on the pod tomorrow. And then when I went to go look it up this morning, I was like, never mind. Can't do that.
And
here we are bringing it up.
Exactly. But like, in the absence of real information, that's what makes these, like, NBA Centel is the greatest of these parody accounts.
Right.
All right. And I'm not convinced that Centel is not Woj.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially Shams did not have him a great trade deadline. All right. The Giannis stuff, man, I'm quickly like adopting Pete Golding's all right. Man, I just caught that. It's like after everything is all right. Now listen, all right. Yeah. But like Austin Simmons, all right. What if he hadn't gotten hurt? All right. Well, it changes the whole complexion of everything where Ole Miss is right now, I think, including the Trinidad Chambliss waiver conversation and this, that, and the other. No, he did not give a quote saying I was promised I'd get my job back, as No 3 Sports put out there for the general populace to be confused. See, Illinois Reb gets it. NBA Centel dude makes so much money.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know how to make money off X because I have never been able to. So, like,
I think it's just based on your interactions. They eventually just pay you. Like, I have a buddy who he just randomly got a check in the mail the other day for like $500. And I was like, what did you do? And he was like, I just had a lot of tweets go viral, dude. And I just, so I don't know. I'd like to make money on this as well.
Going viral, like $500, that's pretty cheap, to be honest with you. Like, I thought.
Well, like, this is probably like, I don't know how many weeks worth of tweets, but like, he went on a little run where his stuff was just going super viral. And I guess that's how it just compiled into $500.
Hey, okay. They pay those accounts more when verified users interact with them. That's the secret.
Interesting.
So we just need to get like an army of us verified people. Hey, every time I respond, just so we can pad the thing. All right, answering some questions before we get into the main topic from Drew. Are they allowing public to be in the courtroom? It's a public trial. They can't tell you that you can't show up and watch the proceedings. Now, if you become unruly, you have to leave. But yeah, you can come and watch that. Trinidad Chambliss, is he making an appearance? I would seriously doubt that.
Yeah,
right?
I don't. Yeah.
No.
I mean, would he need to be?
No.
Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't think so. What time is the deadgummit? I'm trying to find what time is the thing because somebody asked me on the board at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com. Affiliate on 3. Scan this QR code right above my head. This faded Bears hat that I love. I don't care about the Bears. I just love the hat. If you see this QR code on your screen, for those that aren't, OleMissSpirit.com, the Ole Miss Spirit, and affiliate on 3. Scan this. New members get it for $1. We'd love to have you there. $1. I really do wish you would stop lurking and start talking more.
I actually haven't.
Getting old. All right.
Yeah.
People like we were the Ole Miss Spirit. We were number 5 in the overall On 3 network, not the No 3. The On 3 network. We're number 5 in the whole network for new subs sold last month in the off season. Let's be honest. Like, I know it's Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, but like, all I'm asking, is for you to be you.
Yeah.
Is that? But instead, you're just lurking. Gooning online and shit.
Whoa, come on now. Hey, don't give me the Winnie Watkins title now. Come on now.
God, I still can't find this. All right, you vamp for a second while I find this because I'm getting distracted.
Well, I want to talk about. I don't know if you guys saw.
The notice of hearing filed on MEC Doc 7. This is from a user and one of the newer users at the Ole Miss Spirit. CNO 2004. Welcome. Thank you, brother. Glad you're here. We want y'all there too. Y'all can help me out because, man, this is a lot of information to process and to try to give to y'all all day, every day. So 9:30 is when you can early. Check out the proceeding. I know, Brad, you came in late. I've already said it. 9:30. The time being thrown around from past proceedings is 9:30-ish.
Why are you giving Brad that voice? Dude, Brad's out here working.
He came in here and he was like, "Awesome. Good morning, Sudu. Great to see you. Hope to see you in Poughkeepsie again. I know what it's called, Pittsburgh.
You keep trash talking this man's town, and then you
I am
want
not
him to
trash
show you
talking
respect. Come on, what are we doing here? Before we get into this,
Ben, you had a puff or two this morning, buddy. Do I wish I would have? I went to FCA this morning because my sweet oldest daughter Gracie. Where's Gracie? She's right there. It's Gracie. Her friend Emmy was the keynote speaker at FCA today. Did a wonderful job. Spoke from Jeremiah, Isaiah. I was really proud of her. Gracie's out of her cast for those that care.
Let's go.
She was in it for 3 weeks. She's in a boot now. I love her, and I wish I would have spent this morning, but I'm, instead I spent it, worshiping with Emmy and them, and I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, dude, if I would have partaken, if like what are we partaking in though? You know what I mean? I'm 40 now. I don't know if I can do all that no more. You know what I mean? It's old days, and God is good, and I'm just trying to wake up every morning, not be too tired. Oh, we care, Ben. You know this. Thank you, man. Well, my daughters are my world, and so is my wife, and I'm very thankful to them. Thankful for all to let me talk to them all the time. See, now we're getting ideas, Sudu. Ben saying clown posse. Ben and Brad in a hometown street fight in front of the post office. Everybody wants me to fight people. I am not a fighter.
Brad's not a fighter, dude. Brad's a nice guy. Also, like Brad might have some like
he'd whip my ass.
I was gonna say he might have some rage pent up that we don't even know about. Because he's so nice all the time that I don't know if I'd want to face a guy like Brad. Well, I know you'd come out the gates hot. You'd be trying to you'd try to get that first hit on somebody.
That endurance wouldn't be good though, bro.
Yeah. I just have to move around a little bit, and then
not winded like that, bro. Like so quickly winded, right?
Brad, though, you just don't know what you're gonna get with him, man.
Exactly. So that's a really like, as I explained through all the Lane Kiffin stuff. As I explained to Lane, seriously, because someone got in the YouTube comments yesterday, and they're like, "Yeah, for you'll just be remembered as the guy that called him a hoe. We'll remember you as the guy that backed down from him when he finally faced you face to face." To which I said to Lane and everybody, ain't nobody afraid of Lane Kiffin, that we've been through all this before, blah, 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 blah. I am not a fighter. I would not fight Brad. I don't believe in it. I believe I used to be a hothead. Sudu's been through this really. I'll talk my stuff and I'll get my chunk. Now you'll probably whoop my ass, but you'll be like, yeah, I got him. I got his what? But you see what he did to my finger? You know what I mean? Like, and you'll be like, you'll always remember that dude right here. You know what I mean?
I've never walked the same
because it ain't about that.
I beat him up, but God, I've never walked the same since.
Well, look at Brad. He said Ben would kill me. He's wiry. You're insane. You're insane.
That's how I know he'd beat you, because he's giving you the mental edge. You know what I mean?
He's humble in it.
It's like, oh, you'd get me. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you could have a taco shit battle. Now that Trey Freifogel, is that the Trey Freifogel that played at Ole Miss, number 3 wide receiver? Is that Trey? If it is, awesome. Welcome into the chat. I would prefer that because, if you want to do like a rap battle, I used to be pretty good at battling, but I don't know if I can do it anymore.
Rap battles are never a good idea.
Bars, man. Let's settle it with bars. It is. It's Trey Freifogel.
It's never a good idea. Oh, what's up, dude?
Dude, awesome, man. Number 3 himself, the wide receiver, Trey Freifogel, is in the chat with you, folks. Former Ole Miss Rebel. Thanks for joining us, man. Yeah, I like his idea better. The talk your crap battle. I
think you'd win that one off.
Yeah.
Did you see that Richard Seymour's son, who's a walk-on at Georgia, got hit with 11 felony counts, right, of criminal damage to property, which at first I thought was like, oh my God, what did this kid do? Man, this dude was doing, there's this TikTok trend where kids in dorms go try to, quote unquote, kick the door down. They just kick it really hard.
Okay.
And that's what that ended up being. I don't know if you saw that.
But did he do felonies?
Yeah, I mean, these are technically felonies. Yeah. 11. So they took 11 warrants in a case that they should have taken a single warrant, according to his lawyer. And they're kind of saying it's not that big of a deal. But just my thing is, dude, imagine if your dad is Richard Seymour and then you do this.
But here's the thing. All right, Mr. Georgia. Because, let's be honest. like y'all make fun of Sudu for looking like a pothead. I make fun of him constantly because like it's not true, but he's an Ole Miss grad. He loves Ole Miss and all this kind of stuff. But like he wants to cover all things here on Game Run Steve, which we do.
I'm also
like,
the official like ambassador. I'm like the Ole Miss ambassador to Georgia.
That's exactly what I was getting to. If you'd have let me finish it. Really, it's just the man did a great job covering Georgia. I mess with him, but like, dude, what is it with these Georgia players in the offseason, man? Like that is a systemic cultural problem.
I don't know.
What has Kirby ever said about it?
Look, to me, here's the thing. I know that they bring people in. Like, they bring people in to talk to them. They have programs for them. I know fall camp, I want to say 2 years ago, would have been the last year Carson Beck was there. They had those guys in the building from sunrise until way after sunset. Like, those kids did not leave the building.
That really stuck for them, didn't it?
And I asked the guy, I said, hey, why are y'all here for so long? And I mean, I'll just be honest. It was Carson. I asked Carson. I said, dude, why are y'all in the building for so long? And he, in as many words, essentially alluded to, hey, there's a reason, because people do dumb things. And Carson was driving a Lamborghini at the time. And so we were asking him, like, oh, dude, you ever race your Lamborghini? Whatever. He's like, bro, I drive to the facility. I drive home. I stay in my house. I don't leave my house.
That's why he wanted to go spend the last year in Miami.
Right?
Win in South Beach.
But he was, it was sort of alluded to, and then other people kind of confirmed. It's like, yeah, this is them trying to make sure these kids aren't up to no good, which is silly because college kids, doesn't matter what time you leave the facility, you're going to go do what you have to do regardless.
But tell me, Ben saying clown posse's wrong though.
If it was us, Ole Miss would. Oh, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it.
But no, like everybody, oh, Kirby's got a problem. Wink, wink, ha, ha. But like these are actual legal things, not bull crap things like tampering. Also, Charles Stackhouse, one of the best for my money, fullback in Ole Miss history, is in the chat as well. Yeah. I think I saw it because Stack put on his Twitter, bro. Again, I'm never calling it X. Put on his Twitter some highlights from, I think it was Bama 2001, bro. And that's what this is right here, Stack. Right here on the wall when y'all beat Alabama in the rain. Two fullbacks. He was playing a tailback and that ran him for a tutty. I think it was the same game. Either way, two Ole Miss legends in the chat. Trey Freifogel, who says he watches every day. Fire me up. As well as Charles Stackhouse. Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for joining us. Drew said he played fullback too, and he wants to be the Ole Miss ambassador for Florida. All of the options are on the table. We didn't know that John Cox was going to be our senior legal consultant until he came on and absolutely kicked tail on Talk of Champions. Wherever you get your podcast, just search Talk of Champions. Yesterday's podcast was so much fun, and John Cox was awesome. He's going to be a part of our coverage February 12th in Pittsboro, Mississippi. My adopted hometown. We're going to El Jefe. 9:30 it starts. Oh, Chris Collins went off that day against. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I remember towards Sanford down the sidelines in the rain on that game. I was on the 50 with Dad. He had them big money stack tickets. Daddy Fat Sack had them big things. But yes, thank you to all y'all who have joined me. Sudu had to dip out for a second because he's obviously sick. Yeah, he's coughing like crazy. But here let's get to it now. All right, we're 28 minutes in here.
What if Austin
Simmons doesn't get hurt because it bleeds into this? Oh, you need to get Langston Rogers on here. I love Langston. Langston was kind of my boss in college for a couple years. I worked in those old records with him and put things up in that. And Langston's he's a trip. He's a trip. Maybe one day. But if Austin Simmons doesn't get hurt, you were a student. He was a student SID from Langston, as was I. So, hey, I was working in the SID before got into this business here. All right. If Austin Simmons doesn't get hurt, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. The John Cox interview was the best and kind of like dominated it, but we really wanted to get into it today. Dakota thinks Ole Miss goes 5-7, 6-6. Let's start it up straight up. If Austin Simmons doesn't get hurt, what's the first thing that comes to your brain about Ole Miss in 2025-26?
I think their season maybe looks closer to what we saw with the Arch Manning Texas season. I don't know if I don't know how much Austin would have developed by the end of the season, but I think he certainly would have developed. The big issue was processing from what I saw early in the season. I just felt like he was kind of a one-read guy and just would try to force things. So I think that's pretty fair. I think they would have probably been a 7-win team because you have to leave some room for some mistakes and some of the magic that Trinidad was able to conjure. I just don't know if Austin would have had that in him based on the experience and, playing time throughout his college career. So I think, I think a 7-win team. Now, coming into the season, I thought Austin was already very far along.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was that version of Austin, then it was what I said, which was, hey, they're probably going to be a 9-win team. But after watching him play, I was like, okay, he needs some time to develop. So I think 7-8 wins would be pretty. That's probably the range that I'd expect.
So not 6-7 wins.
I think maybe a little bit. I just feel like there was enough there on offense with Kiwan and the weapons they had that, like I said, he made some throws that were incredible when we, like earlier in the season. He zipped that ball in some spots that I was like, whoa, I'm really excited to see how this kid develops. But he also made those boneheaded mistakes. And so I think those mistakes would have certainly kept happening. But, he could also made those throws. So,
yeah. Well, I said it before the year. I said it to you. If Trinidad Chambliss gets this job, he ain't giving it back. And I'm glad to know that you got by no 3 because I really didn't want to hear Austin. It would have been unfortunate had Austin. That would have just been completely against the way he'd been talking and acting and operating ever since the stuff happened. Right. He got hurt. He started the year as the starter. And to come out and say something like that's why I was shocked when you said, and I'm glad to hear it was no 3. Said he promised his starting job upon returning. No, he wasn't, and he handled it in a great way. I think if he doesn't get hurt, Ole Miss at best wins 8 games. I think that Trinidad Chambliss is off to the NFL as a backup quarterback that didn't really get to play much. Maybe he would have shined a little bit. I think he was going to have a role regardless. But yes, Tony Hall's got it. The interceptions would have cost them. He had a turnover issue. All right. The question for me becomes, what does it mean for everything else? Because now the offseason is dominated by what? Is Trinidad Chambliss going to get his preliminary injunction, right? Would you have your quarterback for 2026? Yes, but what would the outlook look like with Austin Simmons? What would the final numbers have been? We can't really determine that. But we can say that the volatility, especially when it comes to turnovers, were a real problem. And while I love what he could be in Missouri, I don't love it, but I love it. Like the pairing with Caden Lee makes a lot of sense, and they needed another wide receiver, and those two friends are going to be able to ride off into the sunset together with one, especially with Caden next year for 1 year, hopefully having a great year at Missouri. But if Austin doesn't get hurt, he's the starter for every game.
Yeah.
If Austin doesn't get hurt, because what here's the truth. Lane Kiffin didn't want Ole Miss to win 13 games. They didn't. He was looking to get out in October. This was a year of moving for him. So Lane Kiffin, nothing would have changed there. He'd have been LSU or whoever's head coach. But Trinidad Chambliss and the offseason story of going to court with the NCAA certainly would have been taken off the table.
I think Simmons goes with Kiffin. Like if Simmons had played a whole season, I think he takes Simmons. I'm not saying he wouldn't have added some other QBs from the portal, but I think he would have 100% would have taken Simmons if he had Simmons the entire year developing.
Yeah, but this is the same guy who was 100% taking Kiwan and he didn't.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like I don't know. Well, I guess it also depends on if Simmons wanted to leave, right? That would that aspect of it. But I think Lane, to me, and this is a very educated guess based on all the information I know about Lane, what was happening behind the scenes. And like we've said, it's pretty much based on people we've talked to and the things we've seen. Lane was 100% planning on leaving this year. And I think if you knew that Trinidad was better than Austin coming into the season and you still started Austin, I see that as I want this guy to develop so I can take him with me. This is a kid that I gave my shot. He was, 15 when he got to campus or whatever he was, 16, however old Austin was when he got to Ole Miss. This is a guy I got to, leave a year early or a couple years early. I've developed him. I think his plan was let me just let him mess up here, and then when I'll take him to my next spot, and then he'll be better off and more developed at that point. And then I just think his hand was forced when Austin got hurt, and it was very obvious that Trinidad was better. But it's not like Trinidad became better when the season started. Trinidad was better during fall camp. I told you, I had people text. I couldn't believe it. People were like, "This is other guy here, man. He's killing it. Austin's throwing picks left and right."
They should be joining the Ole Miss spirit, bro. We've been talking about it for a minute now. I don't disagree with Fred Wash here saying he was going to take Chambliss with him, no doubt.
Oh, I mean, well, absolutely, yeah. Once he saw what Chambliss did throughout the season,
even like didn't like he. I think whatever happened with Trinidad and Austin this year at Ole Miss,
yeah,
he wanted to take Trinidad with him. That's why he started very early the petition of trying to get another year for Trinidad. Now, he didn't really pump up Kewan, Trinidad, any of these dudes for postseason awards. Coaches usually get up there on their stump in their bully pulpit and they have something to say about their best players. Trying to encourage them, like encourage or at least persuade voters in their favor. You didn't see any of that, right?
Right.
It's just the whole operation was off in a lot of ways. So, in my opinion, Trinidad, like it was not started out of the kindness of his heart, looking out for the future of Trinidad Chambliss. It was more like, well, dude, he put him on Tom Mars. He wasn't trying to pump him up for Ole Miss. He was trying to pump him up for himself. And you're right, Trinidad changed all of it. He changed all of it. He changed the entire makeup. Like, he helped Lane get a job he might not have gotten. Like, Lane was moving. He would have had to, quote, settle for Florida. I mean, that'd be a hell of a settle.
But it's what he wanted originally, anyways.
Yeah. But if Austin doesn't get hurt, everything we know about Ole Miss today on February 6, 2026 looks completely different. Kane Lee's still here. Winnie Watkins still is probably following Lane wherever he went.
No doubt.
But it's fascinating to consider. It's like that show on Disney Plus, that what if with the Marvel characters, like what if Iron Man was T'Challa instead? You know what I mean? Same difference here. And if you think about the butterfly effect of that one injury happening, would you have traded any of it if you're an Ole Miss fan? Of course not. You went to the college football playoff. You advanced to the semifinals. You beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Does Austin Simmons get you that far? No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
So when you think about it,
I'll be honest with you. We talk about Lane taking Trinidad with him, whatever. Trinidad might be looking for a job at this point. Because if you don't play and you're not Trinidad Chambliss with all this hype behind you and people don't have tape on you, even if Lane tries to take him to LSU, what are the odds that there's that much momentum, or there's a court injunction, or anybody's even fighting for him that hard? Like, there is a world, there's some timeline where Simmons plays and Trinidad his college career just ends on the bench at Ole Miss. Maybe he has a few touchdown runs and he does some exciting things when he comes in and people go, oh man, that guy's kind of dynamic. But I think that's kind of it. I think it would have just been, all right, let me go. I don't know, maybe try out for the end. I don't know how that works for guys like him. I guess they would just, Ole Miss Pro Day would be where he'd have to show out.
Well, that's where, when you listen to John Cox on the podcast yesterday, if you really want an explainer about all this stuff coming next week, and again, we will be live in Pittsburgh, Mississippi. Brad Logan's going to be on the scene. I'll be in the chair. Hopefully, Sudu will be on with me. I'll get whoever I can get to come on with me. We'll hang out and we'll see what happens. But all of that stuff, like, it's just different. It's like you're not going through that. Like, it's crazy to think that Ole Miss's 2026 outlook is drastically or almost completely reliant upon a successful preliminary injunction in Pittsburgh, Mississippi. Next week, February 12th, 9:30 a.m. That's insane. But it's also emblematic of what college football is in 2026. But you don't have that. I would trade having this and the success that came with Trinidad all day and twice on Sunday. But Austin Simmons still is a guy that I think is going to be extraordinarily successful at Missouri, if assuming that he's fixed his little bit of turnover issues and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting way to look at it and to think about it, and to think about the tentacles of how everything played out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what it led to. I didn't see this. Did you, Josh? In the Joshua Provosti? I'm sorry. He said he's talking about Lane Kiffin in his press conference the other day. He kept referring to Ole Miss not as Ole Miss, but as the other place or our last stop.
I missed that. I haven't even seen it. I saw it. I had a clip come up on Twitter of him talking about just like how hard he's working and like the resources he's got and all that kind of stuff. But I haven't really. Newsflash, guys, I haven't really been watching Lane Kiffin pressers.
Me either. Unlike LSU fans who think we're talking like, dude, because y'all can't stop getting in our chats and stop, like, Lane's can't stop talking about it. I haven't paid attention. I didn't even know he said that. If he did, okay. I agree with Trey Freifogel. Joe Judge is the man with these quarterbacks. That's why when I look toward next year, and if Trinidad doesn't get his preliminary injunction, I think he's going to. But if he doesn't, how seriously does the outlook change? Because the outlook completely changed when Austin Simmons stepped out.
Yeah.
Right? When Trinidad came in, they looked different, and they never stopped. They won 13 games, a record. Yeah? All right, well, if Trinidad isn't the guy, one thing that gives you at least some solace is, as former Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Freifogel says, Joe Judge has been a absolute masterstroke of a hire. Initially brought on by Lane Kiffin. He deserves a ton of credit for that. Joe Judge has been great. Great. But it's still, in my opinion, the outlook is drastically different.
As an Eagles fan, Hoflex, as a Giants fan.
That's what I was about to say. Like, you talking to Sudu, man, as a Giants fan.
I mean, I had
as a Cowboys fan, you know,
I had no respect for the guy. And then I remember when Lane hired him, I talked to Ben because Ben was like, "Oh, Joe Judge is joining," blah blah blah, and I was like, "What the hell are we doing, man?" And he's like, "Hey, they're really high on this guy," and I was like, "High on him? I watched him tank my franchise. What are you talking about?" And now I'm like, "Yeah, I get it. This guy's awesome."
Yeah, he's awesome.
All those I think endorsements, recommendations he got makes sense now from all like the Patriots and the Sabans of the world and all that. It's like, oh, okay, I see why.
So if he doesn't get his appeal, or not appeal, if he doesn't get his preliminary injunction in court on February 12th in Pittsburgh, Mississippi, and Deuce Knight is the starting quarterback, which he'd be the overwhelming favorite. I know that some would be like, here's one, Ben St. Cloud, but I still say AJ Maddox is a sleeper. Yeah, I do too, but, you know, there's the most, I will say you're muted, the most warmed up quarterback in college football. That man, every break last year. Every break. No one was throwing.
And Simmons too, though, to be fair. Simmons was as well, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I ain't mad at it. I ain't knocking it. I'm just saying the man's ready. He's
ready,
ready,
bro.
He ain't got to get ready.
That's right.
He stays ready. Dakota King says he'll be on the scene in Pittsburgh. We'll find Brad Logan. We will be there for Talking Champions. The Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com. I keep pointing the wrong way. The Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, 513. Scan that QR code. New members get it for $1. Our thanks to Riverland Roofing. B&A Bank, my hometown bank. Called in today, 662-534-8171, BNAbank.com. Tannehill Carmen PLLC has served Oxford for 20 years. Contact them for your legal needs, 662-200-8734. Build a new you. Create a new you in 2026 with Built Different Fitness, 662-832-0961. www.bdoxford.com. I think Ole Miss with Deuce Knight, if the preliminary injunction doesn't come through, I've said it on the board. I'll say it here. I mean, it's 8-4 to me. The whole outlook is just very, very different. Being that outlet is a little high on the wall. I know this is actually a converted washroom. We moved stuff around, so there's some awkward places.
What outlet? What's he talking about?
This one right here. No, other way. That one.
Oh.
And people might be wondering about this picture down here. My brother Daniel gave me this picture, and
What is that? What is that?
It's laying in the clouds.
Oh.
And look at this. Is my brother Daniel gave me this. You know, I don't know what to do with it, but like that's the airport, and then he's in the clouds, like he was, you know. I will remember you. That kind.
That's hilarious.
No, I'm not messing it up. So yeah, 8-4. I'd pick 8-4.
This is with Deuce, or are you talking about with Deuce next year?
If it's Deuce next year and he doesn't get his preliminary injunction, 8-4.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, right now, I look at I think when we looked at the schedule, we said what 9 or 10 wins, like as the best case scenario. So I agree. I think 8-win makes sense. I believe I like Deuce Knight. I just can't wait to see him develop even more after next season because I think he's already really, really good. But having Trinidad back and him being able to sit behind him for another year, I'm super excited to see what he can become in a couple years.
I want Deuce Knight to come in here and make it as hard as hell on whoever it is, if it's Trinidad or just the room behind him, to not play him. I want him to do for Ole Miss next year with Trinidad, not necessarily stepping in for an injured Trinidad or having to step in because Trinidad doesn't get his injunction, but that's what they need. Austin Simmons was the future. If I'd have told you this time last year that Austin Simmons wasn't going to be your quarterback come next year, you'd have said, oh my gosh, what has happened? What has fallen apart? Lane left, didn't he? Oh no, the NCAA did this or that, the other. I think we're not giving Deuce Knight enough credit. Now, Auburn had quarterback questions last year, and he didn't play but one game. He started against Mercer. He went for 6 tutties. But this is a former 5-star player, 5-star recruit, number 1 prospect in Mississippi, wanted by not just Ole Miss and Auburn, but Notre Dame. You pick your school. He could have gone anywhere he wanted to. Is he a little bit on the thin side? Yes, but the athleticism is insane. He's got to add a little bit of weight. If he does, look out, man. I mean, I'm not saying Deuce Knight is Lamar Jackson sitting on the bench for Ole Miss. What I am saying, though, is like, and this is the difference in perspective or perception is better. It's better. It's like, think of the difference in perception. If Ole Miss would have signed him out of high school, Ole Miss got a 5-star quarterback, the future, da-da-da-da-da. It would have carried coverage. And now because he spent a year at Auburn and he's just like not the fresh out of the box guy from high school, whoever it might be, say Jared Curtis. Like he was Jared Curtis. And like everyone's like, well, Vanderbilt, they could keep rolling with Jared Curtis, a true freshman 5-star. You just said the same thing at Ole Miss if it was Deuce Knight coming out of high school, but instead he goes to Auburn and doesn't play much with a crappy quarterback situation. Hugh Freeze gets fired and you say, well, he's just not as good as we thought he was. Yeah. See how it's bizarre. Like Deuce Knight deserves a lot more credit than he's getting. If anything, I think he's one of the biggest portal lands for Ole Miss in the offseason for myriad reasons, not the least of which losing Austin Simmons doesn't hurt you for next year if Trinidad Chambliss gets his preliminary injunction in Pittsburgh next week. But you did lose the upside of whatever he could be, the lottery ticket that you thought he was to be or it was and that you were cashing in last year. Coming into this year in the summer when you took him to SEC Media Days. And Deuce Knight, as far as checking the boxes of what you want in your backup / if he has to start again or like he's going to be the future, like Deuce Knight checks as many boxes as Austin Simmons, and yet everyone else will say, well, Austin Simmons is going to Missouri. They're a contender again. Like, what did Austin do when he was in the game outside of turn the ball over? Right? Like, Deuce has his issues too, but I'm saying, like, I don't understand why some can be high on Austin Simmons and have a lesser opinion of Deuce Knight. And as Trey Freifogel brought up, has been saying Kleinpass, he says, and getting in here with Joe Judge, like he's got proof of concept now, man. Like I think it's 8-4 because I don't know enough about Deuce.
The schedule's also brutal, guys.
The schedule is brutal.
That's the tough part. You're going to have to go on the road to Texas, to Oklahoma, to do they go to the Swamp or is that in –
all right.
I think that's at the Swamp.
I have kept the schedule loaded up in the media assets for weeks. Someone asked me on the Spirit, the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com. Sign up today for $1. Scan the QR code. New members, $1. He said, Ben, is it time to check in on maybe a graphic designer for the show? Because he's basically making fun of my crappy schedule, but I bring it back because who cares? Look at that thing. It's just a Word doc, and it's pretty basic looking, but
there's better schedules we can screenshot too. I mean,
there is. That's the one I have. It's fine. Louisville, would Ole Miss still beat Louisville? Jeff Brom in Louisville with Deuce Knight as his quarterback in the season opener. That one becomes more of a toss-up, does it not?
Yeah, and I think that one's also where you rely on your running backs and Kewan and the kid they just got from Michigan State, and he was a hell of a back.
Charlotte, you're still going to win. LSU is a toss-up regardless. At Florida is a toss-up. More of a toss-up with Deuce than with Trinidad.
But see, at Florida is just, I mean, it's the Swamp, dude. The Swamp is not easy to win, and Ole Miss fans know this. No. It's just not a place that, it's tough. LSU becomes a toss-up, certainly.
It's already a toss-up, even with Trinidad, right, because like that's going to be the September game of the month.
Oh yeah,
don't you yawn over there?
I gotta reach out now.
You need to like a vitamin D shot or something, vitamin C, whatever it is. I tell him when I tell Emily she needs vitamin D and tell you it's different. You know what I mean? It's just
I take a pretty high IU vitamin D supplement every day, so. I think I'm okay on that.
Oh, sorry, man. My bad, bro. I forgot, bro. You getting them gains in. All right, so Louisville would be more of a toss-up. Charlotte, you're still going to win. Yeah, I'm looking at 8-4. I mean, because then Oklahoma becomes more of a toss-up. And when the floor becomes more volatile, that's where you have to, err on the side of caution. But yeah, that's my graphic. Or we could just throw up these graphics. Like I got this on Twitter. Free 6 Mafia. That. Maybe next week. Maybe next week for Trinidad Chambliss. But yeah, I think 8-4. Because there's a sizable difference. Because if for no other reason, then like you might say, well, Deuce has more of an upside. He could. Because Trinidad Chambliss kind of is what he is. But what he is really good as a really good college football quarterback.
Yeah.
That can win you. Yeah. All these sponsors can't get a good schedule. Crap. Look, man. I'm just is this where y'all want to be? Is this where y'all want to be when Jesus comes back? Picking on little old Ben Garrett. I just can't. Maddie P says you're more of a vitamin D.
Oh, goodness.
But here's the thing. With or without, if you can get to 9 wins, it's true. And this goes for not just Ole Miss. This goes for LSU. That's why you balls to the wall. 9 wins gets you in next year. Yeah. If it doesn't, why the hell did you add a 9th SEC game?
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Ronald said he doesn't think 9-3 will make. Like it has to though. Well, the problem is Notre Dame has been guaranteed a playoff spot. You know, no one else gets that.
There will be deserving 9-3 teams that will get left out, but it doesn't mean that just because you're 9-3 you're out. I mean, even now, even this year, I mean, there was legitimate conversations about 9-3 teams. Yeah, exactly. So, it's. I do think that with the weight the SEC holds, a 9-game conference schedule, it'd be very hard. I mean, at that point, I feel like SEC schools would sort of revolt. You know, like they would make it a point to raise some hell if they were just being left out because they're expanded to 9 conference games.
Who are the double-digit win candidates in the SEC next year?
Regardless
of the 9 game,
we did this the other day.
Yeah. But I'm talking about I don't want to go back through all that again. I'm just saying like who are the real like Georgia's a 10 winner.
Yeah, Gunner back. Texas. They get a lot back. Texas. I mean, if not next year, I don't know when for Texas. So that's why I have when I hype Texas up, people go, there you go again, and I'm like, no, but it has to be next year. Like the money they just spent in the portal, Arch is probably his final year. Like it just makes sense.
If they don't go to the playoff next year, does Steve Sarkisian lose his job?
See, I said we did this segment a couple weeks ago. I said I think he'll be on the hot seat if they have any screw ups even early in the season. And some people were like, he's not going to be on the hot seat. Are you kidding me? And I'm like, this is Texas, guys. And they are putting in so much money into this football program and Arch Manning and the hype around him. And now he's finally back. They have to, dude. They have to win. They have to get into the playoff. In my opinion, I just don't. I don't know. I just don't see a scenario where they don't get into the playoff and he keeps his job. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's especially when you go get Cam Coleman and Hollywood Smothers, man.
Exactly.
Now the other 10-win potential team, I think Ole Miss is in there with Trinidad.
Yeah,
it's that critical. Stop yawning over there. You're killing me. You got you're the energy, the vibes aren't what they usually are, sir. Next time you're sick, just call in sick.
Sorry, okay? I got sick, man. My bad. Sorry I got sick and still showed up, bro.
You know what? I don't want you showing up. I want you to get better and show up with like I need you to show up. All right. The problem with Alabama, I love Keelan Russell, but the problem with that, they do have the easiest schedule of all the SEC teams, one of the easiest. So they're the 10-win. But you talk about guys like Kalen DeBoer is gonna. I mean, he's a hot seat guy, which is still crazy because like Kalen DeBoer is awesome. I wonder if he could have really gotten Penn State. I wonder if he really wishes he'd have lost the Iron Bowl so he could have gone to Penn State. Like
I thought the rumblings I was hearing at the end of the year about USC and maybe Lincoln Riley, them moving on from him, that one made sense to me. I was like, whoa, USC might be a tough one for him to say no to.
Where would Lincoln Riley go? He ain't going to the pros.
I think Lincoln Riley might be done.
You think he's cooked?
He might be, dude. I mean, what have they done? What have they really done?
Go to hell, LSU says, I'm sick as well, Sudu, but I don't look like I've been fighting a grass fire.
Hey, man, everybody's different. Come on. What are we doing?
Weed does make you sleepy.
Some weeds. There's different kinds, though. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, indicas, sativas, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
know way more about this stuff than I do, apparently.
No, no, no. No, I'm not on that good level. I'm vibing happy today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've determined that if Austin Simmons had stayed healthy, Ole Miss probably wins 8-9 games, doesn't make the playoffs. Lane Kiffin still leaves. Trinidad Chambliss fades off into the sunset.
Keywan might be gone too, because I think a big reason Keywan's staying is also Trinidad.
I think so too.
Right?
Yeah, we know Caden Lee. The crap he was talking to his teammates and coaches about how if Trinidad gets that waiver, that appeal, whatever, I'm coming back. We know that good old Caden's a great kid, man, great dude. I had nothing but respect for that dude. He was awesome to me. I'll never forget, like, the day I went back to practice after all the hoe crap went down. The first person of coaches and players that walked up was Caden. He was like, "Ah, look, it's my favorite controversial redhead," or something like that. So I wish nothing but love for Caden Lee. I hope he does great things in Missouri, but also he couldn't tell anybody. No, he was gonna be where Austin was. Austin, so Caden Lee would have still been here. But outside of that, like, I think your outlook looks different for next year with Austin too. Assuming that they only won 8 games and turnovers were a problem, like, the questions aren't, I mean, maybe he has it into the year a lot like Arch did.
That's my thing is I think he was talented enough to figure it out. I think part of Austin's thing is just experience. Like, he needs to get those live game reps. He needs to be under the fire. He needs to be able to screw up and know that, hey, I'm keeping my job because there's no one else, there to take it. And I think if that was the case, yeah, I think 100% you would have seen some improvement, but you would have some anxiety coming into this year of, all right, now we got a new coach. You probably lose some guys. Is Austin going to take that next step? With Trinidad, you don't really worry about the next step. You almost worry about regression, or will other teams be able to scheme him better is the concern for Trinidad, but not anything to do with him taking the next step. Like, he's already there. If he left for the draft this year, he'd be in a great position based on the weak quarterback class we've seen. So, yeah, it's just tough, man.
But it shows you too that, like, how everything has changed. Back in the old days, there wouldn't be a question Trinidad would be in the NFL draft, regardless of the appeal and stuff. They just didn't know you're going to the NFL. It's not like, especially in this draft class, but he's not going to make the same kind of money as he's going to make at Ole Miss next year. So those are the damages that he's going to.
That's my whole thing. People talk about that. They're like, why would he not go to the league? I go, why? To go play for the Jets and make less money than he's going to make at Ole Miss? Like, this, financially, it makes way more sense. Financially, and honestly, for his own enjoyment. Come on, spend another year, another semester in Oxford, Mississippi, as the guy.
Even it's not like even removing that stuff. Remove, like, you're another year at Oxford, another college experience. $5 million.
That's what I'm saying. But yes, the money, that's the main thing. But I'm saying on top of that, you're making that in, like, one of the greatest college towns in the country.
Yeah, and there's no pressure for you to be anything but yourself.
And you're worshipped. Like, no matter where you go, you're the guy in town. So
they got flags hanging everywhere, man. All right, a couple questions from the chat, and we got to get to other broader things before we get out of here. Drew, can Keywan leave if Chambliss does not get his injunction? No.
Well, here's the deal. So this is our friend Trey Wallace brought up a great point the other day. His fear is that this spring, when competitions are settled and all stuff, there's going to be guys that are going to be like, screw it, I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm not saying that's for Keywan, but I am saying it is an anxiety that when Trey brought it up, I hadn't thought about, of like, wait a second, these rules really don't matter. Like, the people that are enforcing them is the NCAA. We've already seen people boldly going against NCAA rules. So it is a little scary to think that the amount of tampering that will happen in the spring of coaches being like, are you happy over there? Because, you could come here, screw your deal, we'll pay the buyout. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
So it is a little concerning, but I do think Keywan, Trinidad, I think those guys, they're committed, they're signed, they're leading, they're the leaders of the team. Like, I'd be shocked if Keywan or any of those top guys that they signed. But it does make me worry about maybe some of the quote-unquote depth pieces or guys that are coming in to compete. If things don't go their way, are they going to try to force themselves out, which is a legitimate concern.
It is a legitimate concern. However, I don't think it'll be as widespread necessarily to warrant the concern that maybe Trey has. I think he's absolutely right. There are going to be lawsuits filed at the end of the spring because what are these rules? Like, why? Why can't, like, there's not a portal window. You're incurring damages on, like, I'm incurring damages because of your nonsense rule. So, in that way. But if it doesn't work, like, if you go to court and it doesn't work, then you're just screwed, right? I mean, there are very few avenues then for you to follow to continue your career. So it's going to be not just a calculated risk, a real risk for a lot of guys that they're not going to be willing to take. Especially if you're a guy like Kewan who's in your money year for the NFL and you're making at Ole Miss north of $2 million. Let's be honest. I mean, Texas talked to you about paying you 2.3. Ole Miss met and matched and bested every offer you got. He's being compensated very, very well. I would be shocked if in the spring he would kind of disrupt all that, like throw a wrench into what his future could be. Not that I say he wouldn't get the money, but like a fight that he doesn't even need, like for what, an extra $200,000? You see what I'm saying? Like there are a lot more considerations to it than that. But you're right. The depth pieces, there could be something. That's why a lot of people ask, like, do we expect the spring practices to return at Ole Miss? You know, not anymore the Grove Bowl games, which, hand up, I love the Grove Bowl games. I think that there's actually a missed opportunity with the Grove Bowl games in terms of really making it a fan insane event. I love the idea of it. I think spring practice is antiquated, regressive, and serves no purpose, especially with multi-million-dollar investments. I don't want to see Trinidad Chambliss in April. I don't. I have no interest in it. I want to see Deuce Knight. Of course, I want to see a little Walker Howard after he's coming back from his injury at ULL last year.
Walker Howard, Grove Bowl legend. Walker Howard, dude.
Like
that got me so hyped when I watched him. Whatever that first year he was on campus.
I hate it because, like, I wish that we could let freshmen enroll early at Ole Miss, but like go back to their prom. You know,
that's true. That would be nice.
Yeah, or finish their basketball season, whatever season they're in. Yeah, finish baseball, but like you got to come to Ole Miss practice on Monday, you know, for football.
Right.
I liked the Grove Bowl games. I thought they were fun. I thought that you could have really taken advantage. I brought back some more Ole Miss royalty. You could have had like you could have put on a parade on the square and then like your guest of the weekend honor for the Grove Bowl games could have been like Eli, like the king of Grove Bowl games. Like be silly with it, call it like the Hunger Games in a lot of ways. And like really do it up and lean into the absurdity of it because it was unique. It was fun. I thought it was a great idea. I don't think you're going to see much of a return. I think you're going to see more of a traditional spring football, and not just at Ole Miss, but at other places too. Thing is, you still don't know what's coming down the pike. So why would you want to, like, you're still not going to have depth charts. You're still not going to have position battles in the spring because of the threat of, even though there's not a second window, what if a guy goes, well, I'm third team after spring? You're creating problems that are unnecessary. It's not like because you practice for 15 days in April, as my friend Pine Knott for the millionth time every single day calls me when I'm podcasting. I've told him I podcast from 10 to 11:30, and here he is calling Pine Knott. Watch the show.
Pine Knott is a crazy name. I love that. That might be my next like Road to Glory player name. I love that name.
Pine Knott.
That's a linebacker.
Most people don't even know Pine Knott's actual name. It's Stephen Allred, but like Pine Knott, I don't know where it came from.
Okay, I thought that was his real name.
Well, it is. Everybody calls him Pine Knott. Like when my 60-year-old parents are going, "Hey, will you call Pine Knott?" I mean, everybody calls him Pine Knott.
That's hilarious.
I think Pine Knott is.
This comment. I think this is Robert. I met him after the Tulane game in Oxford. Great guy. Great seeing you, Rob. Thanks for joining us, man.
Well, this is Rob on the screen.
I believe so. I based on the picture. See, the name's kind of thrown me off, but
I'm texting him. I text him every day. What am I doing right now? Am I doing right now, Pine Knott? He'll be like, well, okay. He's a Mississippi State guy. Loves Brian Haydad. Shout out to my guy, B.
Oh, dude. He always says I'm his more handsome brother. I like Brian, man. Brian's a good guy.
First off, I was about to cut a promo on Brian Haydad, but you know what?
He would have loved that too. You know the first call I made when I got the WWE job. Well, I didn't get the job yet. I had just been in contact with the WWE about working there, and before I even called you, I called Brian Haydad, And I said, Brian, I was like, I'm auditioning with the WWE. I know, because I know you watch. I mean, you don't watch it the same way you used to.
No,
He
I don't.
still is like 100% entrenched in it. So I called him and I was like, I need you to just give me as much information as possible on NXT, and I need da. And like the same day, my name got put out on the dirt sheets of like WWE looking at this former news anchor, whatever. And I was like, Brian, did you tell somebody? He's like, no, it wasn't me. And for a few weeks, I thought it was him, but then I discovered it's people in the company that leak it to dirt sheets.
But also,
yeah,
it's
he's
totally
awesome.
Haydad's fault, because he's just a easy mark. He wanted to get on the dirt sheets. He's big into the internet wrestling community. I love Brian Haydad. I'm not going to talk. Exactly. Deep down, we all love it. Wrestling. It's just, everything is wrestling. Look at college football now.
100%.
Everything
Politics.
is
Politics.
Tony, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Appreciate it. What are the big, I wanted to touch on a couple. You mentioned Miami of Ohio the other day. They're still undefeated.
Still undefeated, dude. You know what's funny? I tried to watch that game the other night. I couldn't find it, but I was sitting there.
I did because of you, dude.
On a Tuesday, I was sitting there on my Fubo app, like, can I find this Miami of Ohio game? It's insane.
What are the other major pressing national storylines for you right now? Like what has got your attention? For me, it's just the Trinidad Chandler appeal, which led to, of course, me asking what would have happened if Austin Simmons hadn't gotten hurt. So neither one of us believed that they would have won 13 games and gone to the semifinals of college football.
No. It would have been a development season.
Those defensive shortcomings that they made up for, hopefully in the portal, they'd have been fatal, more fatal than they were.
Yeah. National stories.
Sorry.
Obviously, you got Trinidad. That was a big deal. I mean, Greg Sankey taking the NCAA side on the Betty Yako case, which once again, I don't disagree with him, but it was just surprising to see the conference commissioner come out and do that, especially a guy who remains fairly quiet when his schools are being raked over the coals sometimes.
I just want to say that you mentioned it earlier. I think I was going to try to chime in on it. Man, Greg Sankey's been a disappointment. I know that the SEC is the first conference to do $1.04 billion in revenue. I know that the money is as good as it's ever been. The on-field product, if you're the SEC, why aren't people asking more questions about how the SEC's falling short of the playoff? Like the last 3 years, man. Who does that fall on if not the SEC commissioner? When your member institutions, one of which, let me ask you a question. Is it inarguable that Ole Miss was one of the most visibly popular SEC teams this year, or just one of the most visible, not popularity, but just everybody paid attention to Ole Miss? They were the story of November, December, and January.
For a myriad of reasons, including on-field and off-field.
All right.
Yeah.
If the commissioner is the gatekeeper of his organization, in this case for Greg Sankey, the SEC, why aren't you fighting for them behind closed doors? Not to say that we don't know that you are, but from the public-facing perception of things, it just seems like you do a lot of nothing to help your member institutions to fight for the SEC, to promote the SEC. It looks like with that $1.04 billion in revenue generated, that really you're just there to keep your pockets filled and the pockets of all them stuffy old bureaucrats filled everywhere across the country. As long as you and your golfing buddies are making bank, who cares if Ole Miss has got to take the NCAA, or not Ole Miss, but Trinidad Chambliss has to take the NCAA to Pittsburgh, Mississippi on my wife's birthday. Eat a little El Jefe lunch after the proceedings. You get what I'm saying? It's bizarre. And people fawn over Greg Sankey in this way. National media types, they love, and he's a great guy to talk to. I would just argue, what are you doing to promote and to be the public-facing face of the SEC other than get in the way? Did you see what he said in the argument for the Alabama basketball player? He sided with the suits. He said the NCAA, the court doesn't need to be making decisions. The NCAA does. What? I mean, honestly, it's an indictment, and it speaks poorly of Greg Sankey that college football which is the most popular sport, in my opinion, in the world, or the best sport in the world. I won't say most popular because soccer internationally and the NFL dwarfs college football. I love college football. But this sport, one of the greatest sports in the world, which is easy enough to say. Where are you? Right? Like, you should be the guy that everyone says this, we need reform. The guy in charge of the greatest conference in the sport. Why not him? Like, it's an indictment on you that you're not being floated as like, well, Greg Sankey should just become the commissioner of all of this. Because, like, dude,
it's such a big difference from Mike Slive.
Yes.
Like, Slive was such a giant, and Sankey just kind of, I don't know, he's just there. I mean, I see him at events. Like, he shows
he's
his face.
Personable, and he's fun, and he's thoughtful, and he's charismatic, and all of these things are true. I'm saying fight for your conference. I agree. The Alabama player from the G League has no business playing college basketball. You are the SEC commissioner. You go to bat for Alabama and your member institutions. Can you guys publish a list of players that LSU got that had signed contracts, included a precise timeline? I would love the talking heads at ESPN to have a good luck trying to hammer down timelines and stuff, but we'll try it sometime. Roundabout way of saying, Greg Sankey, the star of your league, is going to Pittsburgh next week. And where are you? But if not to support the NCAA in court against your member institutions, it's insane to me. It's just insane. In what other walk of life would the principal CEO of an organization who doesn't bend over backwards to support his organization, like publicly, privately, it don't matter. Like, we got, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what have you done? How or why would Judge Robert deny Trinidad Chambliss' injunction? He won't. And I wrote a story on that at the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, affiliate on 3 from John Cox, who is now our senior legal consultant here on Game Runs Deep Talking Champions. He'll be with us in Pittsburgh. Go there, read that story, what Trinidad Chambliss has to prove against the NCAA in court next week. Mainly it's the damages, and the damages are very simple. That's why it was important that he signed the NIL deal. The damages are real. He's not going to make $5 million next year in the NFL. Here's the $5 million. And arbitrary rules say, these arbitrary rules that they're not even following their own rules. They're in breach. They're costing them damages. It's kind of, in that way, in a court of law, open and shut. We'll see. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in Pittsburgh next week. But from everything I can gather, and a lot of it's at the Ole Miss Spirit, yeah, still think Trinidad's going to be Ole Miss quarterback next year. And if you had told me this time last year, I said, oh my gosh, the world fell apart. What happened to Austin Simmons, the next great hope? You know what I mean? Who's now a Missouri Tiger. College football in 2026.
It is what it is.
I feel like I had to talk the whole time because you just were zoned out.
No, I'm zoned in. What do you mean? I just let you go, man. Otherwise, my boy's going to show up in the comments. He's going to say that I'm interrupting Ben Garrett.
Hey guys, welcome to Game Runs Deep. It's your boy.
I didn't even do the intro today. That was you. You doing an impression of yourself? Is that what we doing?
What's up, guys? It's your boy Sudu. What time is it, man? It's you.
Oh, goodness.
No. All right, we're done. This has been Talking Champions, Game Runs Deep. I'm Ben Garrett. He's Sudu Upadhyay. The Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, and affiliate of On 3 Given will hire Judge Rogers as an analyst. That's really, really funny. That's funny. Brad in the chat says, Sankey is very smart in wording. There's no accident he sided with the NCAA here. There's a motive here. I also think there's a long game play. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Brad, I'll see you on Monday, Brad. Right? Or is it you and me on Monday? No,
or Tuesday.
We're Tuesday, Brad. So I'll see you on Monday, and then from Pittsburgh, and we'll have a talk about this because maybe I'm being too hard on Greg Sankey. I don't think so. But because I'm with Ronald, I think he looks really stupid lately. It's been fun to hang out with y'all again. Go to the Ole Miss Spirit. Thanks to B&A Bank, Riverland Roofing, who's still doing ice apocalypse cleanup. If you need some help, call them 662-644-4297, riverlandroofing.com. B&A Bank for all your financial needs. My hometown bank. I can tell you, everybody that works over there, man, they love to help you out. If you're looking for health insurance, call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group, 601-953-8449, online at quoteswithdrew.com. All your Ole Miss merch can be bought at College Corner. Call them at 662-550-4330, online at collegecornerstore.com. My guy Scott will hook you up, man. That's the place to go. Build different fitness for a new you in 2026. 662-832-0961, online at bdoxford.com.
Have you been?
Yeah, not yet. No, of course not.
You try to lie just now?
No, I'm not going to lie.
You said yeah, and then you got
well, I didn't.
Just say it.
Man, I gotta do it, man. We're getting a bad way over here. Your boy's like turning into Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, bro. You feel me?
You got this.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Alan Sanders, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fox. That's your third yawn. That's 3 more yawns than you've ever had on another pod. What the heck is wrong with you?
I'm not doing well, man. I'm crumbling over here.
My love to C-Spire, man. The newest sponsor for us. C-Spire.com. C-Spire customer inspired.
Shout out my dog Wade Mina, bro.
Wade Mina. You know Wade?
Yeah, I know Wade.
Dude, I met him coming back from Phoenix. He sat beside me on the plane. We're friends now.
Yeah, I think his dad owns C-Spire.
He does. And we became friends. He sat beside me on the plane from Phoenix, and that is crazy.
Yeah, I know Wade.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to school with him.
Love you all. Appreciate you coming on. Hey, Sudu, get to feeling better. And when I see you on Tuesday, my gosh.
I promise I'll be better by Tuesday.
The viewership wasn't what it usually is. Now it's Friday. It's the all season. I understand it's going to be a little blah, blah, blah. Yes, Brad, his hat's better than my hat. I agree. I agree.
You know what's disappointing about this hat? That was a quick story about real quick. And it was one of the biggest disappointments of last year. Then I had to remind myself, like, shut up. You're so lucky to even have one. But there was this hat Scotty Scheffler was wearing last year, and it was like a tan color with like a green brim. And I wanted that hat so bad, man. I saw Scotty wear this thing before I got to Augusta last year, my first and only time there. And I'm in the shop every day that week looking for that hat. Never found it. So I settled for this one. And I say settled. That. Yeah, it's awesome. But the other one was the hat to have. But it was
if you ever do get the hat to have, can I have that hat? So people can stop making fun of my faded old crappy hat.
I'll just get you one next year. I mean, I would have gotten you some stuff last year when I was there. I don't know.
I just want a hat.
Augusta now, but
I just want a hat. I just want that hat.
I got you.
That's a nice hat.
You know how many people had Venmo? I think I had $3,500 in my Venmo last year for just stuff to buy other people. Like
is that real?
Dead serious. People were just Venmoing me money. Like, dude, I'm just gonna send you $500. Can you get me like 3 polos, a vest, a this, a that? And oftentimes I was like, you didn't send me enough money. Like,
see, I thought they wouldn't let you into Augusta, like in off times, like go shopping. Like I remember.
You can. I went because I was credentialed to cover the Masters. You can't just go. That's why people were sending me money because they can't just go. Yeah, because my guy Flip, like him and his dad and some people, they were coming back from a trip and they were like, man, let's stop by Augusta, just go to like the gift shop, walk in there, just grab some stuff and we'll get out of there. Man, they pulled up to the front gate. They had dudes with guns right here. They said, what are you doing? And they said, we're coming to do so. No, you're not. You're going to go up here. You're going to turn around and you're going to leave. Yeah. We're gonna drive and turn around and we're gonna leave. Yeah, you can't just go at any point, but even during the match, I didn't know that. You have to win that lottery or you have to be credentialed or whatever. But it's a whole thing. But it was fun, man. I mean, I got to sit on 18 and watch Rory win his first Masters, which was awesome. So if I never go back, I'm good. That is awesome. 2019 Tiger winning the Masters is one of my favorite sports moments of all time. It was delightful. It was like I was a kid again. It was being raised in the 2000s. It was watching him while sitting in New Albany on a Sunday afternoon in my recliner as he tried to get it done. I need that hat. Yeah, I need that hat. All right. Well, I will see you next week, Benny. Yes, and you better get your vibes up because this did not work for me. I'll be better. It's the first time the game ran deep, but it also kind of ran a little bit shallow for me. If you want me to be honest. Yeah. All right. I need you to. Let me go hop in the sauna, rest up. I'll be back. Do whatever you got to do. All right. I'm about to go. I'm going to go over to New Albany High School. When we get done, I'm going to put this up on the Ole Miss Spirit, along with some people have been asking about the high school class. I wrote a story that's up today. Best in class, Landon Barnes,
Buy your lottery ticket now for Emmanuel Faulkner. Talked about the spring signees. There were 3 of them, all in-state prospects. Read all about that at the Ole Miss Spirit. We talk about this stuff all day, every day. I'd love to have every one of y'all. So come hang with us. Our thanks to C Spire. Sudu, since you were such a Debbie Downer today, the next time I see your little ass on the Ole Miss Spirit, you better be talking and not just lurking. That's all I'm saying.
No promises, but we'll see.
Jerk. What an absolute jerk. Who are you picking in the Super Bowl? Oh yeah, real quick. Hold on. Oh gosh. The new app update with the iPhone is driving me crazy. All right, here we go. My guy CJ, he hadn't joined us in a while, the LSU fan. He now writes for Newsweek. He said ESPN 47 of 50 picked the Seahawks over the Patriots in Super Bowl Sunday. Sports Illustrated 9 of 10. Why are we still even talking about Sports Illustrated? Who writes for Sports Illustrated?
I don't know. I thought it was AI now.
Yeah, it is too. So like 9 out of 10 computers picks for Sports Illustrated. CBS Sports 6 of 7 picked the Seahawks. NFL Network 23 of 26 picked the Seahawks. 85 out of 93 experts, analysts, and NFL personalities picked the Seahawks. Will you be joining them right now?
Yeah. I've been Seahawks. Like I said, I think it's going to be a more high-scoring game than other people do. What did I say the other day? 38-37 Seahawks?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Braden Thornberry, the former Ole Miss golf great, he put this on Twitter yesterday, and I was like, well, we're talking about this tomorrow, so I'll read it.
Yes, that's kind of what I was referring to earlier when I said that, yeah.
If Austin Simmons never gets hurt, Trinidad Chambliss more than likely never plays D1 football and would probably be looking for a normal job in May. Makes you think how many players would have been absolutely amazing and just never got the chance. Fortunately, Trinidad Chambliss did. Unfortunately, he has to go fight in Pittsburgh next week to be back for Ole Miss, be Ole Miss's quarterback next year. If you get the injunction, the preliminary injunction, this is as John Cox put it, our now senior legal analyst consultant, this is a run out the clock mechanism. If he gets the preliminary injunction, it's over. He's going to be Ole Miss's quarterback in 2026. I don't know if a ruling will come down on the 12th at 9:30, but within a few days, at least, they're going to have it, like the judge is going to have it written up and stuff like that. Still thinking he's going to be Ole Miss's quarterback in 2026. Cannot believe we're near Valentine's and we're still doing this stuff here. You know what I mean? About this, man. The NCAA, I mean, the people that are in charge of like making this sport what it is, they hate this sport. It's crazy. I love it though, so that's why every day here at Talk of Champions, Game Runs Deep, we gonna be live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Central Time. Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Time. So on Monday it'll be Brad and myself. It's been fun with you, Sudu.
Yes, sir.
Inject some THC, vitamin D, LLC, and get to feeling better for Tuesday.
I got you, brother. I'll see you then. Hopefully much better than today.
Man, what a way to close it. What an incredible